today on the pod, let's just take a look under the hood at what everybody's done up to this point and what their value is maybe to the team out of the main players that are on the team. The pitching, the bullpen, the position players, and maybe let's talk about what's going on at the deadline. We're here at the cabin up in Shoreline, Edmonds area. Hanno, feels good to be back here, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Such a cool place. Kind of quiet. It's easy to do this podcast here, but enough people that still feel like there's some juice in the building. So yeah, it's I'm glad to be back here.
Yeah, and I'm glad to say that I think on our fourth try of starting the show, I think we got it. I think we're off and running. We had a math problem on the take 3. The take before that was a operator error. And then the take before that, we had the bartender come and kick open the door here at the cabin right as we were going to record the door I'm sitting right next to.
You're right, man. I mean, I give you major props. You've been putting a lot of hours behind the wheel, 3 straight days of fun all-star break content from the pod and, on YouTube. So it's all right. We're going to have a great one here tonight.
Yeah, this is much more relaxing. Last Call in Fremont and Boxcar in Magnolia, very happening places with the games. There's no sports today. This feels great. The cabin's right here on the water. It's about 100 years old, this place. It's been here. It's either been a bar or something. It's been here since basically when Richmond Beach was the go-to spot. But the cabin is still here. You should go check it out. So thanks to them. A couple other things before we get going. We were talking about Cal Raleigh's interview on Pat McAfee the day after the Derby when he was talking about the rules and maybe had some suggestions if they wanted to alter or change the rules and things that he thought were cool. And we really settled in yesterday on the pod about the tag teams in a home run derby, how we think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. I think Cal mentioned it, so why not come up with something for him,
Yeah, and the reason I brought it up was I was driving around all day just thinking about these tag teams and kind of setting it up we're making a video game. Just think of it like NBA jams where each team has 2 people you get to play.
So that's a team event. You
can't
cross.
2-on-2.
Yeah, right.
You can't cross. But I did come up with some. You want to hear them?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, let's do this. Oh, you need to get a beer. Okay, well, I'm going to lay out all the teams while you go get a beer. And when you come back, I'll have the tournament ready for you. So the teams, and I ranked them in this order, would be Judge and Stanton coming at number 1 seed. Dumper and Julio would be number 2. Ohtani and Teoscar Hernandez would be in the 3 slot. Juan Soto and Pete Alonso with the 4 seed. In the 5th seed, Fernando Tatis, Manny Machado. Number 6 seed would be Schwarber and Bryce Harper. Number 7 would be Jordan and Isaac Paredes. And number 8 would be Seager and Simeon. So, again, these are tag team, 2-on-2 home run derby. You tell me who wins this tournament, okay? We got Judge and Stanton. First round, they're going to be taking on Seager and Simeon. Who wins that battle?
This is going to be tough because it's the first time I've been hearing of these teams, so it'll be interesting to see what I can come up with.
Yeah.
I like it. So Simeon, that's the Texas team first, faces the New York Yankee team?
Yeah.
All right, I'll let you continue. I'm sorry.
So who wins that battle?
New York goes on.
New York. All right, the next matchup, who will play them next, would be Ohtani and Teoscar Hernandez against Jordan Alvarez and Isaac Paredes.
I'm going to continue with my answer, but I need to ask a question first. What ballpark are we playing in, Atlanta or
this one? I
mean, you're going to have the same ballpark for the whole time?
Let's say since this is fantasy booking, this is back in the Metrodome.
Okay. Wow. It makes it really hard for me to home run.
It's a video game. It could be anywhere.
You're right.
It's like NBA Jam.
Okay. Ohtani. Sorry, man. Ohtani. You're taking too long on him. Too long on my answer, you know?
Yeah.
That's dead air. Sorry. Cut it
fine.
out.
That was, we can put in a Jeopardy thing or something. So the next matchup, here's a tough one. Juan Soto and Pete Alonso taking on Tatis and Manny Machado. And you want me to throw another stadium in there? We're playing.
Well, I think we should all be at the same
at Wrigley Field.
Oh, okay.
I think that would be the coolest place to have a home run derby at.
I'm going to go with the Polar Bear and Soto.
Okay. And then Big Dumper and the J-Rod Show taking on Schwarber and Bryce Harper.
This is very close, in my opinion. I'm gonna go with Cal because I'm a homer and
he's the reigning champion.
Yeah, exactly. He's got the numbers to back it up.
Okay.
Go see Cal. Go see Cal. Go see Cal.
All right. Semi-final round here. We have the powerhouse matchup of the New York Yankees with Aaron Judge and Stanton. And across from them in the other dugout is Ohtani and Teoscar Hernandez of the LA Dodgers.
Ohtani, Teoscar. Or the New York, probably your number one seed. I'm going Stanton and Judge.
Stanton and Judge moving on to the finals. And they will be playing the winner of this series. Your Seattle Mariners with the J-Rod Show and the Big Dumper taking on Juan Soto and Pete Alonso.
Going with the Mets guys. I think a little upset.
Subway Series, huh?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna.
I hate that happened that way to New York teams, but
we're gonna do this one in the old Shea Stadium. New York Yankees with Judge and Stanton, or the Mets with Soto and Pete Alonso.
Just like pretending I'm watching this thing, I just see too many home runs from Judge and Stanton, just clubbing the ball, Stanton. I'm going with the Yankees. There's so many options you could come up with. Very tough.
So the rest of this episode, though, what we really wanted to get into is we're kind of just doing like a look under the hood and, just discussing
what we liked in the first half, what we didn't, and then go over the roster.
We'll go over the roster and then maybe some hard cuts or maybe some moves that you want to see the Mariners go out and make. All right, well, let's just start with what has always been their strength, but this year has been inconsistent because of injuries, and that's starting pitching. I just read an article from Calkins that was pretty positive on like what the Mariners have. And, one of the signs that he pointed to that the Mariners are looking to probably have a better second half than the first half is the pitching is becoming to get much more healthy. Yeah, you still don't have Bryce Miller, but, you have a Luis Castillo that's pitching, below his career ERA right now. He's giving you a shitload of innings. I'd have to look it up. I think it's like 119 innings or something like that. And then you have Brian Wu, let's go back to the beginning of the season, going into the season. This is your number 5 starter. Your number 5 starter is now pitching like your rock, your ace. And yes, you still have Logan Gilbert trying to find his footing. But you've seen things from George Kirby that seems like he's turning that corner. We still don't know what's going to happen there with that 5th spot when Bryce is coming back. And it seems like the league has kind of caught up to Logan Evans a little bit, and they definitely caught up to Hancock. So what's your feeling on the pitching?
This is what I think is going to happen to Bryce Miller, or I'm hoping. He is going to come back, and then they're going to go real easy with him. And I think they're going to kind of get him going in the bullpen, stretch him out, possibly. Maybe make a start for, Evans if they're around, or Hancock. Not sure, but I just think the bullpen's a good place for him this second half, and then have that power arm out of the bullpen come playoffs. Knock on wood, we're in. I'm assuming. Never assume as a Mariner fan, you're in the playoffs. But so that's what I'm thinking with Bryce Miller. Are then relievers really like him? I just don't think we have enough. We need to go out and get one more arm at the trade deadline. I'm not saying which guy. We have two. We saw in that New York game, we got Brash, who we feel comfortable with, and Munoz, the All-Star. They look good. Out of the rest, sure, guys have had some nice seasons. Guys have, dropped off. But I need another consistent guy that I totally have faith with. I mean, do you have faith still with the lefty for us? His name escaping me.
Spire.
I mean, he's not quite in that category for me.
He's been overused and maybe a little bit overexposed. I feel like you're right. They need to get another arm, like a proven arm. You want to get somebody, and I'll use this as an example, but not the results of the example. But when they went and they acquired Santos in the offseason a couple of years ago, or season or two ago, they went out and they went to get somebody with that pedigree. He hasn't worked out. He's been injured all the time, but he was a closer for another team. That's basically what I'm trying to say. The guy they went and got last year was great, but he got hurt too. Yimi Garcia.
I like the move. They need to do a move like that again.
They have to. Yes. You need to get somebody that is somebody's closer, somebody's dog out there in the bullpen.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then, like I said, with Bryce Miller out there too, you got that 6th, 7th, he comes in there throwing fucking, gas like he does, just knowing he's going one inning. He might be unbelievable. And then this is the dream scenario. I would love to get another starting pitcher. The dream for me would probably be Joe Ryan in Minnesota. He's a good player. The Mariners off balance, that's for sure. And, we don't need it whatsoever, but let's be freaking just crazier than hell. The M's go out and get a pitcher as well. I'd like to see him go get him. So I think, we don't need it, because we could have either Hancock or Evans go, because it's down to the wire. You don't need to pitch them every 5th day. So that would be dream case scenario, where you're just going, you're plucking every freaking position that you need out, or you feel that could help this team. And there's what about, pitcher, hitter, first base, maybe an outfielder. That's kind of what we're thinking.
Well, I'm going to read you what Calkin said about the pitching here. He said their pitching is mostly healthy. That's what he's starting with. And I'm actually going to share this on the screen too. Look, I pay for this damn thing. So I pay for my subscription to Seattle Times. I should be able to share it here on my show. But the thing he says in this article here that you got to go check out is, like I was saying, about them being healthy. Brian Woo's, every single start he has had, been on there for 6 innings or more. And I already mentioned Luis Castillo's pitching below his ERA, career ERA. And these two guys are going to find it in Kirby and Gilbert. They're going to. You've seen it. It's been that extra inning or just that one bad inning, and they're going to eliminate those things. But after that, to go out and just get or pick up some kind of vet to pitch there in the 6th day, and if it doesn't work out, you're okay with making a move to bring somebody back.
You're right, because those guys down the back end, the youngsters, you're only going 3, maybe 4 starters in a series. So, I mean, we got to get there. We all know that, but
you're looking for a Tyler Anderson kind of deal.
Absolutely.
Something like that.
That is a good pull by you.
Like somebody that's on a contract, maybe they're on their last year. You grab them, you pay whatever. The team's paying $2 million. Hell, who gives a shit what they're paying, right?
So, I agree with you on a lot of that stuff as far as the whole pitching dynamic for the Seattle Mariners in the first half.
Yeah. And I think, too, you're right, though. The bullpen has was last year was the thing that really hamstringed the Mariners more than maybe even the hitting. I know the hitting, they were 28th, 22nd, 27th, whatever. But you already knew that coming in where they did the job that we expected them to do.
I mean, if I lost my mind, like we're talking about these trades, and the M's actually went and got out 2 bullpen guys, that would be amazing. Then we'd have a really good full bullpen.
So at the end of the day, you're thinking no matter what, whether it's a combination of 2 bullpen guys or a starter and a bullpen, you want to bring in 2 arms outside of the organization in here during the deadline.
Yeah. With the possibility of Bryce going out to the bullpen too. But no rush. We don't know he's coming back after this shot and everything.
For post-game interviews, it'd be great if he was a relief pitcher. You'd get Bryce Miller interviews 3-4 times a week instead of once a week. So I'd be for that. We all love Bryce Miller, but yeah, if he can go up and dial up that fastball for an inning here and an inning here a few times a week, that would be huge. He'd be a huge bridge person,
Absolutely.
Fifth, sixth, seventh.
Yeah.
Because sometimes their pitcher, you just realize they don't have it. And you might know that by like the 4th inning. But you're like, oh, he's got to get a 6 so we don't burn through the bullpen. I understand that. But you got to have a stopgap guy, an effective one.
Yeah, good point. Be nice. But we just, the main thing is, like we said, we don't know his timetable. But hopefully it's okay and it works out. That's why I'm mentioning 2 arms. That would be dream case scenario.
Yeah. And you got to give Wu an A for what he's done. And I feel like Castillo has, had like, if you're giving him a grade, like a B- season, a B.
Oh, it's not. It's a solid B for me.
Yeah.
Or
solid B. I'm sorry, I even said B-. I was going on a really hard scale. Yeah. I was going on a Skeens of the A+ scale. I'm sorry. Realistically, yeah, B. Again, makes every start all the time. He's been like that his entire career. He's solid. He gives you a chance to win all the time. And in the last start, did you see him get fired up when he was getting screwed over? He got screwed over on that strike 3, and they made him come back out, and he gives up that single. And that was the first time I've ever seen him actually really irritated like that, because he does have a really good poker face.
Absolutely. It gives you the fist when he's jacked up after the 3rd strikeout. But I noticed that too. And that was the emotion from Castillo that I just didn't expect. I feel good about it because he's pumping up the whole rotation and showing, you don't see that ever out of him. But when you do, it means something. He was pumped up.
Yeah.
I like to see it.
And I think he's going to have a ferocious second half.
Yeah.
I think the management of him this season's been good too. I know that some people, and sometimes I don't know where you really stand on it. You seem to be kind of like back and forth with it. It seems like these pitchers, their pitch counts are much higher this year. Is there some numbers to back that up, or is that just me looking at the pitch? I'm just saying this, looking at the pitch count every night, that the starters seem to get a little bit deeper than they were with Scott Service.
Yeah, I mean, it's very close. It'd be interesting to look at it, I think Kirby, what we've seen from him now, after getting a few starts, and he's kind of dialed it back in. I feel confident about him. Our pitching staff, I think, is going to be better for us this second half than they were in the first. And that was pretty good.
Yeah. I just heard all those dishes crash in the back.
We're professionals. This is day 3. We had a tough one last week.
Hey, we're keeping it simple here at the cabin. So we definitely went in here on these pitchers. Let's move on to
too hardcore for you. You love it.
Yeah. Let's start with the Mariners infield right now. JP Crawford. I mean, it sucks he's not an all-star, but I get it. You look at the stacked shortstops in this league, but he's had a great year, huge bounce back year. You're happy right there at shortstop. You hope this continues. The on-base percentage is nuts. His averages, he's stayed around. It's not like he just got on this big charge and all of a sudden hit 290. He's hovered around like 275 to the low 290s the entire season. He's played much better defense. You can just see what he can bring to the team when he's completely healthy. You look over at third base, Ben Williamson. He's been a good surprise. He can get you enough offense. The defense is out of this world. Second base seems like Cole Young has definitely getting more comfortable over there. You look at first base, that's been the thing. Rowdy didn't quite work out. We also have Solano over there who's playing his best baseball right now. And you have Luke Raley on rotation over there. Sometimes you see Dylan Moore. Seems like you would want to strengthen all of that up. Understatement. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I feel that we go back to the first half. What do I think about those guys? My biggest, not regret, but just so wrong about my opinion was through the infield was them cutting Rowdy Tellez. I just, he had a good. It seemed like a good for Mariners first base, and he had 11 home runs. I mean, same as Julio for a long time there. And I just didn't think we had anybody to replace him, even with Canzone coming up. I didn't give Canzone enough credit that he could come up and be a different player and manages that bats quite a bit different from when he came up last year. So, but that surprises me. I have nothing to add about JP Williamson. Yeah, he's been solid and good player. If you can improve, you want to, for sure. He's a young player. He's been rushed, but don't got anything bad to say about him. Sorry, he's a good fielding third baseman, but he's not going to hit for much power, and he has great at bats. He fights through every pitch, but you're not getting the bopper unless you get somebody different. Cole Young, like everything I've seen from him. And then over at first base, Solano's been fine. I saw him miss one ball. It really upset me because you have the nickname for Solano, and I hate it.
Donnie Barrels.
Yeah, oh, God, it drives me nuts. Donnie Bay. But
everybody calls him that, Hannah.
Just Donnie Barrels.
Donnie Barrels.
Sheesh. Anyway, he's been fine. Definitely slowed down from the first half, what he's been the last month of a whole, but he's been okay. Do I trust him? Kinda. Luke Raley, been good defensively too. I could see him maybe being a trade at the deadline when we get to that area. So that's kind of how I look at first base. But
really?
To improve.
So you're saying maybe we might have to move somebody that's currently in the lineup?
I think the Mems are going to get another first baseman, and then that leaves Raley to go to the outfield. So he's expendable in my opinion. I have no idea. This is just something I've thought of. So when we get to trades, we'll talk about it. Sound
wow.
Good?
Yeah. So here in the infield, yes, I agree. You got to go get a first baseman. I think you got to go get these things and then deal with whatever you got to move afterwards, right? For Ben Williamson, there's nothing wrong if you bring in somebody, especially if it's like a rental for the rest of the year, like maybe Eugenio Suarez. That'd be great.
Yes, absolutely.
That's what we'd really like. We'd like him to come in at third base, and then Ben Williamson gets a little bit of seasoning. There's nothing wrong with that. Whoever you bring in at third base isn't going to probably be your third baseman in the future. Who knows? I mean, I don't know. Maybe you bring Eugenio back, and then you end up, talking him into staying again. I don't know. Yeah. But when you look at second base, sure, anybody that seems to be available, how much more of an upgrade are you going to have there at second base than what you kind of already have? You have a player that is showing you signs that he can be a really impactful player right now.
I mean, speaking of the first half, the Mariners have to feel lucky, super lucky. They started Polanco over at third. They thought he was going to be ready. They thought his knee was good. It wasn't good. Good thing you had Ben Williamson.
How fast did they drop that act?
Yeah. That was a Jerry mistake going into this season.
I commend whoever made the decisions, wwhether it was Dan, whether it was, Perry Hill, Manny Acta, whoever.
Perry Hill's saying, get me anyone.
Yeah, and listen, let's just talk about Polanco because he is on the infield. When he's had to play at second base a couple of games, it's been fine. But now you don't need to do that because Cole Young is an everyday player for you right
Yeah,
now.
I feel totally comfortable with him. It actually surprises me when I see Polanco out there. Maybe it's just because of the lineup.
Yeah, if it's some vicious lefty, I understand.
Oh, I do too, but it's like,
and then you can bring Cole Young in later in the game and
defensive replacement. Same
and then that's how you justify. Well, why would you take him out? Take Polanco's bat out of the lineup at the time. Well, we need the defense at this time. And look, when you become a DH, you kind of create those problems for yourself. Those decision make for yourself when you can't go out there and do it. It's always been strange to me that, and I know it's not this easy. I hate how people always just think that you can go over and learn first base. Like it's that easy of a position. But it's been interesting that, and we have seen Polanco in emergency situations play first base. It's interesting that they don't have him. You didn't see more of that for him over there. That would feel like a position for somebody that if you do want to play in the field, you have an option to go over there. So we haven't seen that. So we're not going to see that down the second half.
Yeah, I agree.
Like if we haven't seen it already, I don't think it's going to happen. I remember when we got Dom Canzone the first time. Remember they were saying he was like a first baseman and an outfielder.
Never seen anything of it come about at first base.
Nothing. We never saw him
Never
play.
Seen it. Well, I agree with you.
We saw it in the scouting report. We're like, oh, well, maybe he'll be like a poor man's Cody Bellinger or something like that. Well, you know what I mean?
Be able to play infield, outfield.
Yeah.
I agree.
But then we've never seen first base. And if we haven't seen it yet, I don't think we're going to see it.
No, I agree.
Yeah. So, yes, you definitely have to get a first baseman or you have to get a third base. You have to get one of those two need to be upgraded.
Agreed.
And one of them needs to be a significant upgrade. And we'll get into that kind of talk in a second. Let's pause for a beer and we're going to talk about the outfield.
We already did.
We didn't talk about the outfield. We talked about the pitching and we went to the infield.
You're right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I even questioned you because I was like, damn, we just have catcher and then we can go to bench. I'm sorry,
and I'm leaving that you apologizing to me stayed in. All right, we'll be back right after this.
Let me ask you this, because I didn't notice it offhand. Is Rowley one of these fucking con men pitch framers?
He's pretty good at it.
Yeah, he's not a con man. That's what you call a platinum glove catcher.
Me and my dad watching, it makes us fucking sick to our stomach. How many pitches these guys are catching. My dad said if he was the umpire, he would say, if you do that shit, I'm calling it an automatic ball.
Strike three called again off the plate.
No, I think it's good, but I think you're a shitty umpire, and if a guy brings the glove way across and that's affecting you, you shouldn't be an umpire. You see the ball that crosses the plate, not where he catches it and moves it, so... Because the catchers have been framing since, forever. Carlton Fisk, all these old-timers, Johnny Bench.
They used to try to get an extra inch or two. Now guys are doing it on every pitch, like a ball in the dirt, and they still have the fucking nerve to. And for me, as a watcher, it makes me sick. I heard a really old timer call up one of the radio shows and be like, "The framing, it's immoral, and it's not, and it's dishonest, and it doesn't belong in the game."
I think it was you using that voice. All right, good. I didn't erase anything.
Thank God. We had those mistakes in years past, and we've actually had to do full shows because we had to get it out. Because we were going every series. I'm proud of our discipline on that.
One of our best shows during the Odyssey run that we ever did, we recorded right here at this table at the cabin.
Yeah.
And I had the Roadcaster plugged into something that it wasn't my computer.
Yeah.
And the heaters were going, so we couldn't hear anything. There was nothing you could do. You couldn't send this to the FBI or the CIA to scramble it and make anything to make sense. That was a bad one. And not to mention when you go and do that and you eat dinner and you buy drinks and collectively spend about $200, and then that happens.
That hurts, It hurt me too, though, when we go after Mariner games to finish up the series 10 o'clock. by the time we're done, let's do it quick. It's 11, and then we don't do it. And then we get something. That's happened a couple times. That was hurtful. That hurt the heart.
Yeah, but we didn't this time. We're back,
Yep.
and I'm not having to piece the show together. This isn't a Frankenstein operation. We left off at the outfield. I mean, you had 2 all-star selections in Julio, Randy Rosarena. You lose Victor Robles to, I saw the countdown. They said it was the second best catch of the year in baseball.
Oh, it was a guy from Oakland make the first.
Yeah.
Unbelievable player. I've seen quite a few from him. But
he had 2. I think it's because he had more of them. They gave him number 1. And because even in the video countdown, they didn't just go to one of them. They showed like 3 of them that he made. So to me,
I've seen at least 3.
To me, Victor
was hurtful because he got hurt and he went in. I mean, that was what's the word I'm looking for? Just I don't give a shit attitude going for it.
I remember the next pitch or the next batter hits one out to right field, and you go from Victor Robles, who's just speed crazy, just come up on the ball, and he almost got one the day before. Remember, he had to do that double clutch.
Oh yeah,
and made that perfect throw. And we just didn't get the guy, and then he has this. The next day, the same thing, same inning. I would have got the same play. Instead, it was Master of Boney, and he was playing so deep, and it was just like he's not getting anybody at the plate.
Yeah, I hear you.
But yeah, losing Victor was huge, and I'd say even though we're not talking about the infield, even though Cole Young is emerging here, not having Bliss because you never know what he was going to blossom into, and he had that speed. And with losing Victor Robles, you lost a lot of speed offensively, and you lose somebody that, look, I'd go out on a limb. We got to see him play a full season, but I bet you he can be, a Gold Glove contender in one of the corner outfield positions. That's how good Victor Robles is when he's on. We've seen what he's done for. He hasn't done anything bad for the Mariners. All he's done is hit the ball, get on base. Steal.
Something that you don't hear in the same sense very much. Mariners and hit the ball.
Yeah. Victor Robles has done nothing but good for the Mariners. So to lose him has been huge. You've been piecing it together out there in right field. Luke Raley was hurt for a significant amount of time. It was great to have him back with his speed and everything. Seems like you want to ship him off, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, you had the best part of Dylan Moore's first half was, that stretch where he had 7 runs from coming in, playing in the outfield. So he had a great little thing. The rest of his first half is sucked, but we got to include that,
Yeah, let's talk about him and Master Boney, because we could talk about Julio. Actually, let's hold on. Let's talk about Julio and
the outfielders.
Let's just stay on track.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, with Julio, I mean, we don't need to really go into it. We know he had a great weekend. We know the first half was start, stop. You think he was really getting going at certain points, and he just didn't. But history has shown that he's a great second half player. So if that trend continues, he's going to have a great second half. But you still need to add somebody because you can't really count on that. And same thing with Randy Rosarena. As much as I love Randy Rosarena, and he seems to be now the guy we've been looking for, the guy we've been dreaming about that's going to show up. You don't know how long that's going to last either. So I do feel like maybe if you aren't going to get Victor Robles back, and nobody has said when he's actually going to come back, then yeah, maybe you have to even think about upgrading somewhere in the outfield for offense as well.
Yeah, so if I'll start with my.
And I'm forgetting Dom Canzone coming up and doing what he's did. He kind of touched on it earlier. He's been great with the stick, but you lose a little something out in the outfield.
They've been adequate for who stepped in. They haven't been terrible. They haven't been good. They've been adequate.
Yeah, you haven't had a glaring spot over there going, this is hurting you. But you definitely could.
You want to improve, but
you definitely, that's a place that could be a position that you sneakily improve with, or you just bring in a veteran. I was even talking about crazy when Pittsburgh was in town. I go, you know what? What if we got Andrew McCutchen? You know,
Absolutely.
right-handed, because if you kept Rayleigh, you'd probably want a right-handed platoon. You want some sort of offensive upgrade from the right side, because from the left side you have it covered currently, because you have Canzone, because you have Luke Rayleigh.
Yeah, I agree. For me, over in left field, Randy, we talked about, and Randy has helped Cal through the streak of the first half. Definitely this last couple weeks, because he was protecting Cal. Even when they didn't throw to Cal, Randy was coming through. So he was huge. And that's what we expected out of Randy. Did anybody expect him to be this way the whole first half? No, he's streaky. Right now he's in a great streak, and he's doing what he needs to do. And we need that to continue in the second half with him protecting Cal, quote unquote. You know what I mean? But it definitely helps out the team quite a bit.
And Randy finds other ways to help the team even when he's not stroking the ball. He gets on base. He has he can get you one of the best at bats, in a pile of what the hell was that at bats. But when it's clutch time or it's an important time late in the game, he's somebody that you're pretty comfortable with up there to either get a walk or move somebody over. He's not going to roll you into a double play very often.
And this is Randy time. We've seen it early in his career. I just feel like bigger games, Randy Rosarina comes through. That's why I think the All-Star game is so beneficial to him. Sure, he didn't do, the major thing, hit 3 home runs, but he hit one, did his part, and he likes the limelight.
Yeah, he got to be in those situations.
Exactly.
And it calms your blood for when you're in them the next time.
Absolutely. So I'm feeling good about Randy. Julio, what's there to say? We've already said it, like you mentioned. He looked great that last series. I certainly hope it, like they talk about all the time, confidence. Yeah, absolutely, it's confidence. Hope he has a better second half. If he takes off and Cal remains the same, that is a nice little front-loaded part of the lineup. But we'll see. I would like to see him steal a little bit more, but it'll be just very interesting to see how the second half goes for him. But that's all you need to say about Julio. And then over in right field, like I said, Rayleigh might be a trade piece. If not, he's okay and right. Canzone's okay and right. If you could improve, you get somebody to improve.
And when you're talking about trading Rayleigh, why and what are you trying to fit instead of him?
First baseman somehow. Personally, I think it'll take Rayleigh possibly in the lineup for, let's say, any type of player. Maybe you could, but like in a bigger deal, let's say Arizona, to get Naylor, maybe it's a big piece and then a major league piece, or some. When I say big piece, I mean minor league big piece. So that's my thinking there. I think, he's, even Canzone too. I just thought Rayleigh would fetch you more.
Yeah, I think if you're trading Rayleigh, then you need to address who's going to play defense in right field, because you would need help out there because he's a good outfielder.
Absolutely. It's this frustrating thing about the Seattle Mariners, as we say. I mean, I don't want to be talking about this. I want to be talking about this in the off season when it's not costing you this much, and you're, in my opinion, overpaying quite a bit.
Well, let's move on to the DH, which is a much improved spot on the team this year, especially with Polanco. Kind of stop that conversation about who's going to be your DH. And let's be honest, we've gotten a lot better production out of Mitch Garver than we did all of last season. Still not great, but, he's your backup catcher. Are you pissed off that the money he's making was Eugenio's money given to him? Yes, sure. Different conversation we're having here. But Polanco has been, pretty good this first half. I mean, he had that just absolutely.
He's given you so much compared to what you thought he was going to do from last year. Unbelievable.
And he's been quietly on a run here on this road trip in this last week or so. And a lot of the losses that we were even in the game were because of Polanco.
No doubt. He's been a huge surprise. Can you imagine relying on freaking
Whoever they had at DH.
yeah.
You know why it's not nobody is coming to your mind is because
There
Scott
really wasn't
Fivers,
a good
no, with a
situation, you're
rotational
right.
spot, and I know I have this clip that I made when Polanco was on his you know just torridly hot start, where I'm saying, hey, the Mariners have found their DH. They've solved that problem, and they have. They're not out going, hey, we need to get a DH in here. Polanco hopefully can do it from both sides of the plate, but he's been on a burner here this last week, or a heater, as they say. He's been on a heater quietly. This last game that they played in Detroit, Mariners ended up piling it on there at the end, but it was Polanco's home run that broke the tie. That was
And
the
the
game winner.
previous series in New York,
Yep.
he left the building too.
Yeah, he did. The Mariners squandered away that lead. So, I mean, what you're getting for Polanco when him and Randy can have runs here or there, and Julio and Cal are doing their thing. Yeah, you do have four guys, and let's not forget about JP that we talked about. I know we already talked about him, but you got like 5-6 solid guys in a lineup, which we have not seen in a while. So that's something I'm feeling good about.
It's not enough still.
It's still not enough. But
in my opinion,
last year, we needed multiple bats. We didn't get enough. I think this year,
because we have Randy, he
was part of it, but you needed more than Randy. But this year, you already have Randy, so getting somebody else can make a difference. I think you got to get at least one good bat, and like you said, 2 arms.
Yes, I'm thinking we'll go to the trades,
and that's going to be our next episode that we do.
Yeah, because I agree with you. It's hopefully it's 2 good guys in the infield, 1 better player, like a superstar or very all-star, and then 1, that's just a solid, sneaky pick over, let's just say first base. And then you get a pitcher at the least. I think you need 3 guys at the least on a very low end of the scale, in my opinion. A third baseman, a first baseman, / maybe outfielder, and you've got to have at least 1 reliever.
Well, let's talk about utility.
Yep.
Let's talk about utility. It's great to have 2 of them, but you probably only need 1 of them. I feel like if you're going to be upgrading, and I think maybe somebody that you got to start thinking about maybe moving on from, or just at least have that discussion of like, are we better with him, or are we better making some other moves? And that's giving credit to Miles Mastrobuoni, what he's done this year. But he's a guy that plays multiple positions, has a completely different game than Dylan Moore, but he kind of serves the same purpose.
Absolutely, but they're different. I agree with you on that. Dylan Moore, we've known, very hot in the first part of the season. It doesn't seem like he's a home run hitter, but when he gets going, he gets going. Has had not a very good season average-wise.
I mean, really bad. This is a long
played
stretch.
Great defense and came through with clutch hits, and probably is. I don't. Yeah, he can play. He can't play. He has played the outfield, right? But he doesn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, he can play all over.
Plays the corner, outfield.
I would just like. Let's say this. I would like an upgrade out of those 2 positions. A better upgrade. And then 1 of those guys there. And the upgrade, because in the postseason, would be a bat, if possible.
If you had to pick right now and you could only keep 1, Miles, for this year, let's take everything and all the feelings out of it if you can. Are you going with Miles Mastrobuoni, or are you going with Dylan Moore? And I can tell you right now, I'm going with Miles Mastrobuoni.
I understand the logic. I don't think there's a right answer. But I'm going to go with Demo. I have more confidence in him trying to swipe a bag if we need it.
Sure.
Even though Mastrobuoni can.
But I agree there. That's where they're different. Dylan Moore's speed. If you need more speed, then you'd have to go with Dylan Moore.
You always need some crazy pinch runner in the playoffs at a certain point to win.
Well, here's the thing. You're talking about trading Luke Raley. I'm sure teams would be interested in Miles Mastrobuoni. He's
yeah. So it's the stupid thing Jerry says. We upgrade and we also lose something. It's both good and bad for us. You know what I'm saying? He always talks about. we're upgrading, and then we're also looking for the future. It's a quote from him over the last couple of years.
Well, we'll talk about it on our next episode, which we'll probably be doing down at Tacos and Tequila. TBD on the date. Could be this weekend, could be next week. But you know what? When you're subscribed and all that shit, you'll know when it's going down. Look, we didn't talk about the catcher position.
There's nothing to talk about.
We just did 2 days of talking about Cal. So, I mean,
one question on the catcher: do you want Cal to take 2 days off a week for DH? So it would be probably day games Wednesday, Sunday. Or does he need more time off from catcher?
He at least needs to have. Yes, I'd like to see him 1.5 days off. Like maybe a game where you do lose the DH, I'm okay with it. If you get deeper and more talented, yes. And then we didn't really talk about Solano too much, but yeah, he's come on. He's offensively you're getting, but that's another guy that you're like.
We had him at first. We kind of
talked about him, I guess so.
But yeah, I agree.
We've talked a lot about Donnie Barrels for
stop it.
Yeah,
we're losing listeners.
Talked a lot of. I think I got a video. I think when we had our little bit of a hiatus, the last video was Donnie Barrels. What if we just stopped doing the show at that point for some reason? That was like the last video.
That was the last hurrah.
That would be a sad last video. It really would. And I can tell you what, it wasn't one of our best as far as likes.
I think they know, they get us. We're just a couple buds.
Oh man.
In the dive bar,
and
talking game.
You asked me earlier before you came on if I told my grandma the news, and I
did.
You didn't know what news I was talking about. I said, well, I told her that Cal Raleigh's got a girlfriend.
That was the one thing I cared about the most, asking you about that. I'm glad you brought that up. How is Grandma Norma taking it?
Her reaction was like, oh, where'd she find her? Where'd he find her? Sorry. She said, where did he find her?
Because Grandma Norma likes to know what's going on, but also thinks when the players aren't playing that well, it's their partner's fault.
Rye Bread and Mustard, a Mariners podcast.
We have the one and only Mr. Tom Hutler. Do you have any of your favorite stories from the Kingdom?
There was a time we had an earthquake, and so they were going to evacuate the building. So I was like getting up to go leave. They go, no, you can't go. You got to read these safety things. It's like,
do we need to tell them that there's smoking's only on the exterior ramps?
Yeah. And Dave came shooting past. He signed off. I'm going, wait, I'm the only one here.
Listen and subscribe to Rye Bread and Mustard, a Mariners podcast, wherever you get your podcast.
Anyways, you said you had one more question.
Yeah, what was your highlight of the first half?
Like just the moment. Do you have yours? That you're your happiest moment of the season?
I don't. I think it says a lot about me. I really don't, but I have two memories that absolutely just killed me throughout the first half.
Okay, what are the two that killed you?
That Yankees series was tough. That we just went through the worst game of the year. And then because we got swept, and also for me, the series early on down in San Francisco that Robles got hurt. But more, it was just the way we played tight games, and they beat us, swept us. That was that low moment for me.
Yeah, I want to say that San Francisco was a...
And Cal, for the highlight, obviously, is the whole first half.
Yeah, I've had a lot of good moments this year. That's why I feel better than I did last year. But yeah, that San Francisco series was really tough. I'll tell you another low moment that when I was of frustration. You want some frustration. You don't want any peaches and cream out of me right now. I'll tell you when it was. It was maybe the series we lost against the Nationals.
Yeah.
I was pretty pissed off. Well, no, it wasn't a low point, but that was one that I was rather frustrated with. Another one would be that Yankee series. It's always tough when it's the Yankees, but the way they bounced back, I think maybe my high point was how they bounced back in Detroit. Just what the offense was doing, and that's what's right now, and that's what makes me feel good. Yeah, of course, Cal individually. I really, they're Randy Rosarena, Julio, Polanco, Cal, all doing their thing at once. And let's just throw JP in there. Like I said, you got to see how crazy this team could be if everybody's going and not just one person going at the same time. And we've seen more of that this year. So those are my high points. And yeah, my low points are definitely finding out Victor Robles was done. Finding out Logan Gilbert was going to be injured at the beginning of the year. Kirby gets to go back to spring training.
We've been very fortunate, even though we, had some issues with the rotation.
If you were to say your 3 starters of your 5,
to go in the first round, like
those that were out, if you just said Bryce Miller, George Kirby, Logan were all going to be injured and not really produce as much for you in the first half, and you were still going to be 5-6 games over 500. You have a wild card spot, and now they're all coming back.
It's acceptable, but it still hurts that we're not.
Yeah,
Houston every single year just takes it from us. They know it. It's almost like we know it. Why don't they ever? The last few years they have beautiful chances to win this division. I mean, it's unreal. It's maddening as a Mariner fan.
Yeah, well, things got to change.
Absolutely.
Something's got to change. And look, they're in a good spot, and I think they're going to add. I'm waiting. But them continuing to win is going to help their case. I know some people would think, if we get crazy, like thinking, well, they're going to go, hey, we like who we have here, Did you want them to get super hot and go, why would you change a damn thing? You got to change stuff. You got to change stuff for October if you get there. You got to have protection. You just do. And when you get to the playoffs, you're playing teams that are just throwing waves of death at you, throwing platoons out there at you, and you're playing stacked teams. So you need to be stacked yourself.
We need to do at a minimum what we did last year, and I'll go over it. We need a Randy Arena type bat, if not better. And obviously we'd want better, the best, obviously. So for me to say it would be the minimum settlement, a player like that. A reliever, hopefully you want it better than what you fared last year where Jimmy Garcia got hurt. But you got to do a move to the bullpen and then another bat. Sure, it's maybe not a big name or a star that's going to cost you a lot of players, but if you get another style. So what I'm saying is if you trade this offseason like you did last offseason for those type of players, and what I'm saying is Justin Turner, a vet, or even guy who was just kind of solid for you. If you got at the minimum exactly what you got out of those guys last year, you got to understand it. I'm not saying it's the best, but it's the way that the Mariners go.
Yeah.
And that's the minimum.
That's the minimum. The minimum is we need to bring somebody in that's going to hit in the middle of this lineup and play at one of the corner positions or possibly right field. That's a must. And then you definitely need some help in the bullpen, and you might need a starter. And so I guess that's where we'll start off on the next.
I'm just saying that's the minimum. You need at least 3 players in the area that they got 3 players at last year's deadline.
Well, on our next episode, let's have some homework. Let's have some names. Let's have some targets at those positions, and we'll talk about them. We'll be doing that down at live. Doing it live down at Tacos and Tequila. Anyways, that is our episode for today. Again, thank you for liking and subscribing. That really helps us out. So do it. Just go do it. Listen, I know there's so many more podcast listeners. It'd be great if you'd come and check us out over on the YouTube. It's much more interactive. It's live. You get these episodes in the morning. We're doing them the night before. Get your questions in. Then you can go in and show somebody like, hey, listen, they answered my question. Look how cool I am. Right? That's a good
I can't believe they would ask a couple Ballard heads.
Yeah, I know.
And I want to talk about the draft, dude, next episode. We'll just go over kind of what we heard about the first 4 picks. And I was disappointed that who the Astros picked in the first round. They got that kid, Xavier Nyan, out of Mount Vernon. He took out our Beavers in the semifinal. So that's tough. Great player. Heard nothing but good things about him, but the Astros draft him. So
Fuck them.
kind of an enemy now.
It's dead to me.
But I want to definitely touch on
All right.
on the guys we drafted.
Yeah. Bring in your charts. Let's do it. All right, Hanno. Thanks to the cabin. And with that being said, Hanno, you know what time it is.